Welcome to the second part of this two-part series on comparative analysis. My name is Shaurya. Today is Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026. And let's just quickly dive right into the topic. In my previous video, I covered what comparative analysis is, why is it important, and we talked about relative strength in brief. I also discussed and disclosed a trading view indicator that you can use to up your comparative analysis game and make the whole process simpler. In today's video, we're going to be discussing two more things that you have to look, or two more things that you have to evaluate if you want to up your comparative analysis game. Like I previously mentioned, I'm not going to be discussing the fundamental criteria in detail. And in fact, I'm going to forego them completely in this video, purely from a standpoint that this video is intended for swing traders and not positional traders. The difference between swing and positional trading has been discussed in detail in one of my previous videos, which I will, put in the description and at the top here. You can click that and watch it. But in brief, the core difference between the two is that in swing trading, we don't give any weightage to the fundamentals of a stock, whereas in positional trading, we pay a lot of weightage to the fundamentals. So having said that, this video is primarily focused on helping swing traders do comparative analysis in a better fashion. You can use all these principles for positional trading as well, but fundamental analysis and fundamental frameworks and criterias are not being looked at or discussed in this particular video. So with that context, let's just quickly dive into our topic. And before that, disclaimer as always. So I am not a SEBI-registered research analyst or investment advisor. This video is purely made from an educational standpoint. Any stock, script, or asset that we discuss is not a buying or selling recommendation. I would request you to conduct your own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Thank you for your attention, and now we can move to the next segment of the video, which is how to do comparative analysis and discuss the nitty-gritties. So let's dive right onto the charts. That's where a large part of the work is done. Right. So we're now on TradingView as usual, and we're going to be discussing this in the most practical way. I'll be explaining two more things that you have to evaluate if you want to up your comparative analysis game. And within comparative analysis, of course, you can look at fundamental criteria, but that's something that I'm not discussing in this video, purely because this is only for swing traders, like I mentioned before. Let's look at stock. Let's take an example and learn this in a better fashion. Let us take this stock. Now, I don't want you to treat this as a buying or selling recommendation, like I mentioned, but let's just try and observe where we are on this stock and what I really want you to do. Now, there are two things that you have to look at apart from relative strength, starting off with the first one, which is institutional interest. What do I mean by institutional interest? Let's just try and understand that. In order for a stock to move dramatically, something like this, wherein you're moving from 126 to 193 in just a span of 3 to 4 days, which is almost a 50% increase, you need institutional interest. Retail investors, of course, can accumulate a certain chunk or drive up the volumes. But if you want the stock to go materially higher, you need institutional interest, you need large players to start accumulating positions. And that is when the stock really moves in price. So if you want the needle to move meaningfully, you need large institutions to take interest in that stock or position. That is when the price really drives up. How do you assess whether an institution is taking positions and if or not they're interested? There are multiple ways to do this. I will tell you two very simple ways to assess institutional interest or sponsorship. Now, one of them, of course, is volumes on TradingView. So if you see these bars on the bottom, these are volume bars. Any bar, and this white line here is the 50-day simple moving average of the volume. This stock has been recently listed, which is why this line is not starting from here. This is when the stock completed 50 trading days, and that is when the 50-day moving average started showing up. Having said that, of course, this will work more accurately on stocks which have been listed for a much longer duration, and we can certainly take an example. But the whole principle remains the same. So you want to focus on that and not just this core example. Any volume bar which is above the 50-day simple moving average in a very simple manner is said to be a high volume day. A high volume day, of course, can be driven by retail investors as well. But if the average volume is, let's say, 3.13 million, and this particular day, let's say the 10th of April, we're having the volume thrice as much as the average volume, there is no way that a retail investor is pushing the stock to this level, or multiple retail investors are pushing the stock to this level. There has to be an institution, there has to be a buyer which is which has deep pockets, which has the ability to drive up volumes in the stock, and which is what is happening here. So a breakout on this particular consolidation, if you see, of price compression or consolidation, whatever you'd like to call it, happened on this day, on the 10th of April, supported by high volumes, wherein the volume was thrice as much as the 50-day simple moving average or the 50-day average volume. This does not mean that multiple retail investors are taking interest. Of course, that is one of the reasons. But a move like this, a 15% move, in a single day with a very high volume, can only be initiated by a large institution. So if you are looking for meaningful moves, you want to ensure that multiple institutions are taking interest in your stock. That is when the stock will meaningfully rise, right? So this is a very simple indicator, and especially when there are multiple days when the volume is above the 50-day simple moving average of the volume. What does this entail? This entails that institutions are taking interest. They are accumulating these shares. It could be for whatever reason. The reasons are not something that we are interested in. That is beyond our concern. We are only interested in whether or not institutions are taking interest in that stock. There could be there could be certain information that you and I don't know, but these institutions have like a stock on. So instead of trying to focus only on the reason, of course, catalyst is very important. It could be earnings, it could be your earnings growth, it could be your theme in general, sector playing well, it could be change in management and things like that. But without focusing on the catalyst and focusing on the volume first, you will be able to spot these trends much earlier. इस particular दिन 10th of April पे कुछ monumental हुआ इस stock के अंदर? I'm not sure. I haven't tracked it. It could be possible, but was it a result day? No, it wasn't. Was there a change in management? Probably not. But institutions knew something more than the retail investors, and they started accumulating these shares. They drove the price right from 126 to 194 in the span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days. That, my friends, is institutional interest. That, my friends, is a meaningful move. This is something that we have to capture. Even if you're not able to capture this linear leg, which is something that is not, I follow. I mean, you can't really spot a trend reversal suddenly. But these directional moves with high volume are typically followed by non-directional moves with low volume, and then a directional move with high volume. That is when you have to really catch the stock. It's okay if you miss this rally. That's absolutely fine. You cannot time it. मैं ये नहीं बोल सकता हूँ ये stock यहाँ पे अगले दिन ब्रेकआउट हुआ तो ऊपर ही जाएगा decisively. There is overhead supply here. There is consolidation here. There are a lot of trapped buyers here. You have these levels have to be meaningfully crossed with high volumes in order for this stock to really, achieve a higher level. That's not the point that I'm trying to discuss. The point that I'm trying to discuss is institutional sponsorship. ठीक है? तो इसको ट्रैक करने का एक तरीका मैंने आपको बता दिया है. आपको 50-day सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज की लाइन लगानी है अपने वॉल्यूम पे, और उसके ऊपर अगर मीनिंगफुली है आपका वॉल्यूम, you can comfortably say that there is a big institution, there are large players which are taking interest in that stock. That brings me comfort. ठीक है? That gives me a positive push कि हाँ, large players are also taking interest. ठीक है? So that's one way. Second way is, of course, you can go on to this website called screener.in. I'm sure you are aware of this. Type the name of the stock. Scroll down right to the bottom. You will see this section wherein they discuss the cap table or shareholding pattern. Go to the yearly, see what is the shareholding pattern. If you see that there are foreign institutional investors and domestic institutional investors who have a certain stake in the company, here it's 3.9, here it's 11.39. This is a meaningful number, which means almost 15% of this whole company is owned by foreign institutional investors and DIIs. in public as well. 23% of the stock is owned by public, out of which 7.48 is with this company. It's also a holding company. It's called Amansa Investments Limited, Steadview Capital, Sparta Group. These are institutional investors. In some way or the other, they are institutional investors. So 23.29, so 7.48, that's almost 10. This is almost 13. 13 plus 11 plus 4. Okay. So there is a significant ownership of institutional players in this stock, or there is significant interest of institutional players in this stock. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि यही इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने यहाँ पे इंटरेस्ट लिया होगा, यही इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने शेयर खरीदे होंगे. दैट्स नॉट द कंक्लूजन आई एम ट्राइंग टू ड्राइव फ्रॉम द स्क्रीनर पार्ट. What I'm trying to indicate from the screener part is that yes, there are institutions which already have a stake in this stock. It could be possible that they're accumulating these shares, but institutional interest is present. तो अगर लार्ज इंस्टीट्यूशन इस स्टॉक के अंदर ऑलरेडी इंटरेस्ट रखते हैं, रुचि रखते हैं, आपको पता है देयर कुड बी सर्टेन एंगल्स ऑफ इट व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड योर एंड माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बट दीज फंड्स अंडरस्टैंड और हैव इवैल्यूएटेड फ्रॉम दिस स्टॉक और इन दिस स्टॉक. तो ये भी एक पॉजिटिव साइन बन जाता है. Of course, you don't want promoters also to not have any meaningful shares. They're the ones who are running this company. But at the same time, अगर institutional interest होता है, institutional demand होती है, तो accountability ज़्यादा होती है. These guys are financial investors. They don't run the company operationally. They want to extract returns out of it. There must be a good reason why they have invested in the stock. Okay? They must be seeing growth potential, etc. Having FI and DI interest does not mean a stock is good. That's not what I'm getting to. Okay? Don't try to draw parallels like that. But having institutional interest is a good sign for a stock. Okay? So one is practically through volume, second is through screener that there is institutional demand and interest. This is the first segment, which is institutional interest. So apart from relative strength, which we have covered in the previous video, you need to track institutional interest. Got it? Next one that you have to track, right, is industry group rank and how has the industry group performed in the last 6 months. अब इसको करने के तरीका मैं आपको एग्जैक्टली बता देता हूं. आई कैन नॉट शो इट यू प्रैक्टिकली. दैट इज माय प्रोप्राइटरी मॉडल दैट आई यूज. बट वेरी सिंपली आई हैव क्रिएटेड अ गूगल शीट ऑन विच आई हैव पुट ऑल द सेक्टर्स दैट आर देयर इन इंडिया. गूगल शीट के अंदर ना गूगल फाइनेंस करके एक फंक्शन है. आप उसको यूज करके उस सेक्टर की आज की परफॉर्मेंस, आज से 3 महीने पहले की परफॉर्मेंस, आज से 1 महीने पहले की परफॉर्मेंस, 6 महीने की पहले परफॉर्मेंस, 1 साल पहले की परफॉर्मेंस निकाल सकते हो. पुट ऑल दो सेक्टर्स, इंपोर्ट दिस डेटा फ्रॉम निफ्टीज वेबसाइट. निफ्टी की वेबसाइट पे या गूगल फाइनेंस के अंदर आपको सारे टिकर्स मिल जाएंगे. आप उन टिकर्स को एक कॉलम में डालेंगे, साथ में आप गूगल फाइनेंस के फंक्शन यूज करेंगे. अब गूगल करिए, चैट जीपीटी करिए, जेमिनी करिए, आपको समझ आ जाएगा कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. What you have to do is, I'm just giving you the problem statement. You have to figure it out on your own. I'm not going to help you with everything. मैं आपको hand holding करने नहीं आया. I'm just here to give you a direction. What you have to do is, you have to put all those sectors in a Google sheet. 10, 20 जितने भी sectors आपको लगते हैं. आपको industry groups डालने हैं वो भी डाल सकते हो. आप निफ्टी के sectoral indices भी डाल सकते हो. Provided Google Finance में उसका data available हो, live data available हो. आपको क्या करना है, एक कॉलम में डालना है 1 डे परफॉर्मेंस, दूसरे कॉलम में डालना है 1 वीक परफॉर्मेंस, तीसरे कॉलम में डालना है 1 मंथ परफॉर्मेंस, चौथे में 3 मंथ्स, पांचवे में 6 मंथ्स. ठीक है. जब आपके पास सारे सेक्टर्स आ गए और उनकी 1 डे, 1 वीक, 1 मंथ, 3 मंथ्स एंड 6 मंथ्स की परफॉर्मेंस आ गई, अब आपको चेक करना है 6 महीने पहले या 6 इन द लास्ट 6 मंथ्स विच आर द सेक्टर्स विच आर परफॉर्म द बेस्ट. आपके ऊपर टॉप 3, 4, 5 सेक्टर्स आप ले लो, 5 सेक्टर्स लिख लो, एक पेपर लो, उस पर लिखो इन द लास्ट 6 मंथ्स दीज आर द टॉप 5 सेक्टर्स. नेक्स्ट इन द लास्ट 3 मंथ्स दीज आर द टॉप 5 सेक्टर्स. नेक्स्ट इन द लास्ट 1 मंथ दीज आर द टॉप 5 सेक्टर्स. नेक्स्ट इन द लास्ट 1 वीक दीज आर द टॉप 5 सेक्टर्स. नाउ व्हाट यू वांट टू डू इज, आपको सारे सेक्टर्स जो कॉमन आ रहे हैं उनको हाईलाइट करना है. एक सेक्टर या 2 सेक्टर जरूर कॉमन आएंगे. ठीक है. उन सेक्टर्स को हाईलाइट कर लो. ये सेक्टर्स हैं जो आज रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ दिखा रहे हैं. स्विंग ट्रेडर्स के लिए ये सेक्टर सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. पिछले 6 महीने में, 3 महीने में, 1 महीने में, 1 हफ्ते में, 1 दिन में कौन सा ऐसा सेक्टर है जो अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है. एक दिन इज टू शॉर्ट साइटेड. आई वुड रेकमेंड आप 6, 3 एंड 1 मंथ करो. 1 वीक भी देख सकते हो, बट 1 डे को अवॉइड करना. और इनमें से कॉमन सेक्टर्स निकालो. और उन कॉमन सेक्टर्स के अंदर से रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ वाले स्टॉक्स आपको ढूंढने हैं। कैसे ढूंढोगे? रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ जो हमने दिखाई थी प्रीवियस वीडियो के अंदर, इंडिकेटर था, वो यूज करो, असेस करो सेक्टर के अंदर कैसा परफॉर्म कर रहा है, ओवरऑल मार्केट के अंदर कैसा परफॉर्म कर रहा है। बट दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव टू डू। ठीक है, तो मैंने आपको एक एक्सरसाइज बता दी है, ये आपको करना है, ये आपको एक पाथ बता दिया, ये आपको करना है। इसकी हैंड होल्डिंग मैं यूट्यूब पे नहीं दे सकता हूँ। दिस इज अ वेरी डिटेल्ड एंड थरो टॉपिक। आई नीड टू रियली कंस्ट्रक्ट दैट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ। बट आई होप आपको कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग हुई है कि मेरे को क्या चाहिए। आसान भाषा में एक बार लास्ट समरी दे रहा हूँ, एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ रिपीटिंग माई सेल्फ। एक शीट लो, उसके अंदर सारे सेक्टर्स डाल दो, सेक्टर्स की पिछले 6 महीने, 3 महीने, 1 महीने, 1 हफ्ते और 1 दिन की परफॉर्मेंस निकाल लो। ये लाइव होती है। गूगल फाइनेंस का बेस्ट पार्ट ये है कि ये लाइव डेटा एक्सट्रैक्ट करता है, तो हर ट्रेडिंग डे के हिसाब से ये चेंज होता है। ठीक है, आपको जब भी आप एनालिसिस कर रहे हो, अपना वीकेंड पे बैठो, एनालिसिस करो, देखो पिछले 6 महीने, 3 महीने और 1 महीने और 1 हफ्ते के अंदर कौन से ऐसे सेक्टर्स हैं जो बेस्ट परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, उन सेक्टर्स में आप इंटरेस्ट रखो। ये आपको रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ वाले सेक्टर्स ऑटोमेटिकली बताएगा। दिस इज अ ब्यूटिफुल हैक and let me tell you, it works. I have been using it for a very long time. I have my own proprietary dashboard for this, which I can help you construct. You can get in touch with me on my email. अगर आपको ये सब सीखना है, all these nuances, you can definitely get in touch with my, get in touch with me over email. I run, one-on-one courses, etc. Of course, they are paid because I put in all the effort and time to teach you all these concepts. बट मैं यूट्यूब पे भी रिवील कर रहा हूँ, यू जस्ट हैव टू डू इन सम एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट। ठीक है, तो दैट इज इट फ्रॉम दिस वीडियो। आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड द एंटायर कॉन्सेप्ट। पहली वीडियो में हमने रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ समझा था, दूसरी वीडियो के अंदर हमने इंस्टीट्यूशनल स्पॉन्सरशिप समझी, और हमने ये समझा कि पिछले लास्ट 6 मंथ्स, लास्ट 3 मंथ्स के हिसाब से कौन से स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट स्टॉक्स है उनको कैसे ढूंढे, या कौन से सेक्टर्स है उनको कैसे ढूंढे। ठीक है, तो सेक्टोरल आइडेंटिफिकेशन, इंडस्ट्री ग्रुप रैंक एंड इंडस्ट्री ग्रुप रैंक इंप्रूवमेंट इज व्हाट आई एम हिंटिंग टुवर्ड्स। ठीक है, बट इसको ना चेंज मत करते रहना। जितने आपने सेक्टर्स पकड़े उन पे फोकस करो। ठीक है, अगर आप ब्रॉड सेक्टर्स ले रहे हो तो उन पे फोकस करो, अगर आप छोटे इंडस्ट्री ग्रुप्स पे ले रहे हो उन पे फोकस करो। जैसे निफ्टी के अंदर अगर आप सेक्टर्स देखोगे तो डिफेंस एक सेक्टर नहीं माना जाएगा, वो एक थीम मानी जाती है, वो एक थीमेटिक इंडाइस है। तो अगर आप थीमेटिक इंडाइसेस को भी जाना चाहते हो तो हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स दैट विल बी अ मोर ग्रैन्युलर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड आई वुड रिकमेंड दैट। आई पर्सनली डू दैट। बट अगर ओवरऑल आपको समझना है कि कौन से सेक्टर के ऊपर फोकस करना है, वो भी आप कर सकते हो। तो दिस इज अ ब्यूटिफुल सॉरी, दिस इज अ ब्यूटिफुल वे टू अंडरस्टैंड विच सेक्टर्स आर शोइंग रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ एंड पिछले 6 महीने की क्या पोजीशन थी, पिछले 1-3 महीने की क्या पोजीशन थी, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ। सो आई होप यू गेट द ड्रिफ्ट. If you have any doubts about the second segment, please write it in the comments. I will try to address it, probably one on one, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much for watching this two-part series on comparative analysis. In my next video, I will probably be discussing another topic altogether. But hopefully in the future, मैं इसका comprehensive understanding भी बनाऊं with this second part thoroughly explained. And if you guys keep supporting, keep subscribing, and keep liking these videos, I will be extremely motivated to do so. So please do that. It's my request. And thank you very much for sticking along and watching this video. I hope you derive some value out of the content that I create. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a restful weekend and bye bye.